So something that literally occurred to me as I was turning the camera on for this video was the fact that we basically have what amounts to two big phonies just going at it in this chapter. Or at least one of the characters that we have been waiting to show up for a very long time and finally have some kind of impact on the story. He's a character that has been lying in the shadows and has been very much referenced since early Justice Devil arc. I have to imagine this is the Fake Saw Man. However, it seems like the Fake Saw Man has actually either merged or devoured, according to him, the Justice Devil. One thing to put into perspective is that we know the Justice Devil and Fire Devil have essentially switched places in the minds of the public. Justice Devil, quote unquote, was actually the Fire Devil. All of these people making contracts with the Justice Devil, especially in the Chainsaw Man Church, they believe they were making contracts with justice. They were actually making contracts with fire, a very dangerous, more primal fear. And that is how we got all of the Chainsaw Man people running about, all of the chaos that is going on in the current world of today, despite the fact that people are still showing up to school for some reason. I would be calling out sick every single day if there were Chainsaw Man people running around and counter protesters fighting in the streets. Not for me. So when Fake Saw Man says that he is an avatar of the Justice Devil and he's fighting on behalf of justice, is this just a product of the Fire Devil, or is it actually Fake Saw Man having devoured the dead corpse of the Justice Devil that we know the Falling Devil took out, right? There is plenty of possibilities. We know the Fake Saw Man was in hell around the time to save Denji and Asa during the Falling Devil arc, so it's completely realistic. It could happen. However, another fraud that is the Death Devil, who we got a confirmation of last chapter when she described herself as being able to bring death and save humanity from themselves. She is going to bring them the sweet release of death. And she even confirms so much in this chapter when she is fighting Fake Saw Man. She gets completely diced up into pieces. Although I have to give it to her, I have to give her the respect when I was first reading this chapter. The very fact that Fake Saw Man shows up with just looking horrendous, just this evil body horror figure and shape and just all of these different blades and weapons, and she just goes, let's go. All right, let's throw hands. I gotta give it to her there. I thought that was pretty cool. As the severed hand touches the poor innocent high school kid that I was truly hoping got saved, but I guess that was just too good to be true, she completely sucks the life out of him. Because of that, the Death Devil was able to completely regenerate, come back to life, similar to how Denji would come back and be able to regenerate after getting blood. It seems like instead of blood, the Death Devil feeds off of life energy. This sets up, in my opinion, what would have been one of the coolest and sweetest moments of all time for the Death Devil to just piece up Fake Saw Man after saying, I've downloaded your moveset, which is so funny. She's like, you look like you dabble in boxing, karate, and this, and if I just do this, you leave yourself open in the situations. Chainsaw Man, you will die in 3 seconds. And then literally they square up again, and I'm like, oh fuck, the Death Devil really is something to be messed with. She loses all of her aura. The Death Devil just gets cut up into pieces all over again. Just done. Not even in 3 seconds, she's the one that's on the floor crying for help. Not Fake Saw Man, to the point that Fake Saw Man again is like, this girl is so weak. I think it makes a lot of sense when you actually get down to the nitty-gritty of it. One of the biggest complaints that a lot of people had with the Death Devil showing up was that a lot of people were upset that Yoshida in one chapter literally says, hey, we've got about a month left until the Death Devil arrives. We've got to lock in. And then literally in that chapter alone, the Death Devil shows up, or maybe it was the chapter right after, but the Death Devil showing up completely throws that timeline in even more whack. However, I think the Death Devil showing up early while also not having its full power and being a relatively weak devil as of right now, because it hasn't killed enough people, it hasn't absorbed enough life force to be a strong, insanely powerful devil. That makes sense. Where in a month's time, maybe again, some event happens, there's some way to link the Death Devil to all of the crazy apocalypse deaths that have happened, because if the Death Devil is going to get power from just the pure fear of death and just death alone, perhaps the fear of death, while being one of the most primal fears and the scariest thing that most people are worried about, perhaps it starts out very weak, and then once that Nostradamus prophecy is fully fulfilled, Death Devil will be the strongest devil. Whether that means she is going to be slowly gaining power over time, and it's going to be one big, race against the clock to try and stop the Death Devil before she gets all too powerful to defeat, or she's gonna remain this weak devil, but she's also immortal and can't die, and then on the fated day, she awakens in her true form, exalted death devil, and just destroys the entire world. There's plenty of different ways that it can go about it. However, this is the perfect opportunity to actually stop the death devil. Because one thing that we've also learned throughout all of Chainsaw Man is how unstoppable this beast is supposed to be. How unkillable. It's the strongest devil of all time. All primal fears and the most powerful devils in all of hell are all going to arrive to kneel before the death devil's insane ability and strength. If it really is, you know, this strong, something that we don't really believe that we can stop or beat or do anything about once the promised day comes, I think it makes a lot more sense, instead of having this all insane powerful entity that we've been hyped up for years on end to no one be able to defeat, and then we defeat it. What if the death devil is weakened, shows up but is weak up until the promised day, and we have that time to kill the death devil? While it's definitely a subversion of our expectations and something not a lot of us expected, I think it might be a great way for the story to go, and for all of the, not to bring in like power levels or anything, not that Chainsaw Man cares about stuff like that, but just to make it all make sense, right? Or maybe Fujimoto, you know, throws a curveball at us that Death Devil is this weak being that for a short period of time, if you're able to satisfy these conditions, you can stop the apocalypse from happening. Either way, I don't necessarily know exactly where this story is going to go. To be completely honest, with Chainsaw Man, we never really can. But I do know that I'll be here every week, as long as there's not a break, covering this series and doing my best to discuss and look into the story as much as I possibly can for our viewing pleasure, both of ours. I laughed a lot this chapter, and that's one thing that Chainsaw Man will always be able to get from me, is a good laugh, a good chuckle. And sometimes that's all I need. You know, Chainsaw Man is an enjoyable story. I love Chainsaw Man Part 2. I've loved it so far, and I'm very interested to see and excited to see where this whole Death Devil situation goes, especially with the way that Fujimoto is handling it. But also at the end of the day, I love the fact that almost at least once a chapter, Fujimoto can bring out a little bit of a childish laughter in me. And I don't know if any of you guys feel the same, but if you do, definitely comment below and let me know. Let me know your favorite moment in Chainsaw Man that made you laugh. Personally, one of my favorite moments is when Power literally ran over the dude with Kobeni's car that was and then tried to play it off like she did. I miss Power. Give me Power back, and the world is yours, you know, Fujimoto. But anyway, guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget, if you want to talk more about Chainsaw Man and join the community, you can definitely join the Discord for $1 membership on the channel. It helps support the channel, and it gives you access to the Discord where you can talk Chainsaw Man and any other series or chapters that we may be reading or talking about. So guys, genuinely, I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, 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 peace.